A celebrated journalist, magazine editor, and the author of the book, The Trial of Henry Kissinger, Christopher Hitchens, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. H.
Words are not in room.
What a panel, what a show. Okay. Now, I wish we could just lollygag here, but we have important issues to get to. Your book, Chris, always, you are one of the great writers, I have to say. I don't agree with everything in here.
You're not supposed to.
Right. It's about Henry Kissinger, and, you're not the first to say that he is responsible for a lot of the atrocities in Indochina, and, of course, with the Bob Kerrey situation all in the news. I've been hearing nothing but Vietnam the last couple of weeks, and I have to tell you, it bothers me that there is this conventional wisdom that is in every article I hear, every article I read, every news report I hear, about Vietnam was a wasted war. We should never have gone. I've said many times on the show, I thought it was a necessary war. It was very nice for Ronald Reagan, an actor playing the president, to go over to the Berlin Wall and say, tear down that wall. That is not what won the Cold War. That was a wonderful money shot.
It's true.
It was a good photo op. What won the Cold War was we demonstrating to the bullies of the world that we would put ourselves on the line and spend lives. The Vietnam War didn't have to happen in Vietnam, but it had to happen somewhere.
I think the problem, sorry to interject, I think the problem...
I haven't started yet.
I saw the breath, the respectful breath. But what I was going to say was, I think there's a problem with media. Media basically warps all things. I believe that media polarized America. I was in college at that point, and so there was this kind of ranting and raving back and forth between the far left and the far right. Is this a politically motivated war?
Right.
Is it a military? Who cares? The idea is, pragmatically speaking, when are you going to stop the guy with the hammer and the sickle when he's knocking on your door?
Right.
However, let's be pragmatic about this. I mean, and real. America didn't just enter the war because we were the good guys. There were other issues. There was oil and all that stuff. But I do agree with the right, although I don't perceive myself as that, with you've got to stamp your foot down.
Yeah.
Yes, it's always... On whom? On whom? Well, on who is this foot to be stamped down? You say lives had to be lost to prove your point, our point. Well, just take the case of Senator Kerry. That's 13... old ladies and women and children. Did their lives have to be lost to make this point that the United States should be...
Well, I mean, the Russians...
No, I don't think so.
The Russians...
By 1968, Robert McNamara and Lyndon Johnson and all the people running the war had all said to their friends at the Senate and to their friends at the CIA and the FBI, this war is over, it's lost, we should never have got into it. But we can't break that news to the American people yet.
Right.
Now, how does that going to sound to people whose sons were lost in Vietnam after the war had been given up on by the political class?
Those are legitimate questions.
They are very legitimate
they
questions.
But Bill
it's
asked...
nice of you to say so, but, I haven't got my trousers off yet, excuse me.
Is that a British term that I'm not familiar with?
Should I move over?
I know. Not, as I was saying to Mr. Prager, not yet, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm grateful for him for telling me what I already know, that these are legitimate questions. In 1968, there was a peace agreement being made in Paris by Lyndon Johnson and the U.S. government, the elected government, to begin an orderly withdrawal from what was obviously a fiasco, if not a crime, in Vietnam. The Nixon campaign went to the South Vietnamese military leadership and said, if you sabotage those talks and pull out of them, and wreck the 1968 elections, sabotage, undermine them, which is what actually happened, then we'll give you a better deal. We'll continue the war on your terms for 4 more years. Look at the Kerry stuff. Look at the time. Look at the place. The time is 69. The war is being extended illegally and secretly as a result of a secret deal involving Nixon and Kissinger.
What do you mean by illegally?
What war? I'm so glad you asked.
Wait, before you answer that, I just want to interject so people don't think I'm asleep.
Or a potted plant.
Just to answer
Ms. Goldberg is not a potted plant.
No, I'm not.
She's not.
Not now. To answer what I think was your question,
Yeah.
with my opinion, is no, we knew before we went in that this war was unwinnable. The French had been there forever.
Yeah.
And one of the
And the
reasons that we
Japanese.
went in was because we did so miserably in the Korean War that we needed to, I feel, we needed to sort of bring ourselves back up to what America was supposed to be championing. And instead of paying attention, they went in and wasted lives. And all
see,
these,
but wasted-
and all, you know, I got family on the wall. These are wasted lives.
Wait a second. They're
So-
not sometimes wasted lives are unwasted lives. In Korea, they fought a battle called Hill 53. And when it was over, they said, it had no strategic value. Why did we fight it? And the guy said, that's the point. It had no strategic value. We had to show them.
The point,
we
right.
were willing to
You know
do
what?
that. The
I'm
Russians
sorry.
lost 20 million
Unless
people in World
unless
War
you
II.
have, for me,
But
okay, unless you have a damn good reason to be somewhere. Don't
There
ask
was a
my,
damn good
excuse
reason.
me, let me finish my point. Don't ask my brother to go and do it.
Absolutely.
Don't ask my brother to go and fight unless you can explain
Why
to me.
isn't it? Why?
Bob
Excuse me,
McNamara's
excuse me.
book.
And Joan
Bob-
Why wasn't it?
Bob
Why was it not a
McNamara's
damn
book
good reason?
was very, very clear
I remember. Okay.
about what went on. And basically, Mr. McNamara said, look, we knew it was over, and we did nothing about it. That's wasted lives to me.
Okay.
That's what
Why
I'm
is it
talking
not a
about when I
damn
say
good
wasted
reason?
lives.
murder.
That's what I mean.
Why is fighting communism not a damn good reason? Fighting Nazism was a damn good reason to sacrifice your brothers. Why was fighting communism morally different?
I'll tell you, because to me, I'm not sure that communism is necessarily a bad thing.
Come on.
Well, hold on. I think, wait.
Let me, you have to,
saying that.
I've said it before.
But that's a remarkable statement.
Well, it shouldn't be, because if you look at
They have murdered more people
if you
than the
look
Nazis
at the
did.
bottom line of what communism is, it is you and I working together for a better.
That's the theory.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
That's not what we were fighting.
Karl Marx wrote a...
How do we know what we were fighting,
Because
Bill?
we knew
How
it
do
when-
we know?
oh, come on,
But
because
you
we
think
didn't know
those
what-
people... Bill, when did we get into World War II? Did we get in when we knew the Jews were being eaten up by... Oh, sorry, I almost said the F word.
You can
when
say
we
the F
knew
word.
that the Jews were beaten up by Adolf Hitler? No. It took
Right.
us years to go in. We knew what the hell was going on. Well, why did it take so long? I mean, I'm not sure that I agree, because Joe McCarthy, was he fighting communism? What was he really doing?
Wait. Yes, yeah, we are.
No, but
Joe
you're
McCarthy
talking about
was a-
communism.
Joe McCarthy was a demagogue. That has nothing to do with
Right.
the idea of fighting communism,
you know what?
which is as noble as fighting
Could I
fascism.
just,
Yes,
I mean, I
do.
don't want to
No, go ahead.
I don't want to disown you or disagree with you, but
No,
I
that's all
just
right.
think I would add this to,
Wouldn't hurt.
I would add this to, because what you said before shouldn't be forgotten. You're quite right. If your family has names on that wall, you're entitled to say you were lied to about it, and they were not just wasted, but I think they were murdered by the state. I don't think it's...
that's nonsense.
no,
That's a big
it's the least you can say.
I mean, it's-
But wait. Now, you look it up, and you won't believe it, but the government of the day, Mr. Dean Rusk, Mr. McNamara, said, we are in Vietnam to stop the Chinese communists from taking over Indochina. Right? That's what they actually said. You don't disagree, I'm pleased to see. What did Mr. Nixon and Mr. Kissinger do? They flew to Beijing to have a photo op with a love-in with Mao Zedong as their way out of the war. I'm not going to hear from these people that they were anti-communist or
But Mao
anti-Stalinist.
Zedong, there's another guy who killed millions and millions
Nixon's
of people.
problem.
You speak as if we
That's-
live in a
excuse me,
world that is
excuse
a
me.
vacuum.
No, that's
We
Kissinger's
have to
problem. That's
counteract the
Kissinger's
worst people in the world.
Well, were
That's
they doing
the
that?
point.
Were they doing that?
My Bill,
That's
I tell you,
Kissinger's
Bill,
problem.
I have lived
That's
to agree
Kissinger's
with you.
problem.
Right.
It's
I
a
mean,
joy.
but I mean, it's just reality.
It is.
Saddam
What
was-
would you have done? Here's the question.
Yeah.
Let's say Dean Rusk is bad, Caspar Weinberg is talking out of his... But everybody's talking different things. You can't get involved in the details. Here's the question for all... I beg your pardon?
I think the details matter, actually.
Yeah, but the overall idea
They
is
said they were
still...
fighting Mao Zedong, then they went and threw their arms around.
So let's say they're not, and let's say what it's all about is oil, okay? And
Not
let's...
in Indochina, it is.
Okay, so it's about some other idea. It's not about politics. At the end of the day, if we weren't going to step up and do something physically there, I ask all of us, I'm neither Democrat or Republican. I have issues with both those guys. I think everybody's full of hot air. So the question for all of us is, if not there, where? That's the question for you.
Okay, I got to take a break. This is interesting.
Hey, we're not going to
All right.
leave Vietnam like that, are we?
What's that?
We're not going to leave Vietnam just like that, are we?
We're not going to leave Vietnam? That was our original problem. We couldn't leave Vietnam. You want to stay again?
No, I have an entry strategy.
An entry strategy.
A term I hope you don't borrow from me. No, he challenged me, and I should say.
I was just asking.
Said what should and should not be done against communism. Well, you know, Nelson Mandela was arrested on information given to the South African police by the American Central Intelligence Agency because they were fighting communism. Are you for that? Is anything done against communism okay with you, would be my question.
Listen, we signed up with the greatest mass murder in history to fight the fascists.
The war in Vietnam was a war fought by the Vietnamese for independence against the Japanese, against the French, and the United States government made the hideous mistake by lying repeatedly to its own people of inheriting that terrible war, and they threw away the lives of many, many Americans. And they undermined American democracy, and they killed probably 3 million Vietnamese for nothing at all. And Bob Kerry is being asked.
But it wasn't for nothing at all. No, that's what you're wrong.
Bob Kerry was ordered to kill those people.
What was it for?
It was so that Reagan could stand there and say, tear down this wall, and at that point the Russians could go, you know what, the Americans have proved to us that they are willing to stand up to the bully. If we had not fought Vietnam, Reagan couldn't have had his photo op, and this Cold War would never have ended.
And who's the bully in the village? Who's the bully in the village when Bob Kerry and his friends shoot 13 civilians?
Yeah, no one is...
Who's the bully there? Under orders, because it's a free fire zone, and you can kill anyone.
Of course, when you play the women and children
Exactly. What about the women and children in Dresden who were killed by Allied bombers? There were far more German civilians killed.
Do not profane.
You would be speaking German right now.
Do not profane the struggle against Nazism. Do not profane it, I repeat, by comparing it to the action of someone who acts like a Nazi and rounds up civilians and kills them.
Stalin killed as many Jews since I'm one as Hitler did. I make no distinction between Stalin and...
But here's the thing. Here's the about the whole thing. When you send people to war, when you make young men soldiers, these are ordinary cats coming out of neighborhoods, coming out of nice suburbs, and they're put into extraordinary situations. I'm afraid that I feel that Bob Kerry probably did what countless people did in Vietnam, probably panicked and killed a whole lot of people.
But Whoopi, it's not fair to say
they were under orders.
It hasn't been tried. We don't know.
But we know they were under orders to kill anyone who moved in that area. Let's describe the U.S. government.
Because anyone who moved in that area could well have been an enemy. It was a tragic war.
Wait, I have a question for you. Let me ask you. There is evil in the world, you would agree?
Yeah.
There is evil and evil men?
Yeah.
Yes, Henry Kissinger, I've written a book about it.
Okay.
I'm glad you mentioned it.
Right. How do you counteract evil? How do you stop evil if not with greater force?
Cuff Kissinger, take him downtown.
Could you?
That would be a start.
Miss Goldberg, answer this question.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, Bill, will you please repeat the question?
Don't be looking upset now.
If there is evil in the world,
Yes.
naturally nobody wants to send their sons to go and fight it. But how else do you counteract evil? How else do you stop
But whose evil are we talking about, Bill?
Well, the communist empire was evil, and it was bent on world domination. And at a certain point...
Not like us.
Not in Indochina.
No, I don't agree. No, I don't think so.
The countries that we liberated became democracies.
Absolutely.
But that's, I'm not saying it's a bad, listen, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I only pose the question. We also would like to run the world as the United States.
What country does everybody try to sneak across the border to?
But you're missing
I'll get there. Who cares?
But that illustrates my point. You know, every
Where are you going to run if you're being carpet bombed? Where are you going to run if you're being carpet bombed?
But what does carpet bombing have to do with his question? Right now, no one is being carpet bombed.
There were no boat people.
But if you lived...
There were no boat people refugees from carpet bombing. You can't escape it.
Okay.
You can escape a regime.
There were both people...
You cannot escape mass murder from the air. And if anything you say is true, ask yourself this. Why, if this is anything you say is true, is Henry Kissinger now taking money from the Chinese communists to defend their right to shoot their students?
What are we talking about?
Why is that?
Henry Kissinger is your big bête noire.
Are you going to take that? Are you going to take that from Kissinger?
What do you think it was like to live under a communist regime before communism came to an end?
I'll tell you in part what it was like because I lived in East Germany.
You lived in East Germany?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Whoa.
And so when I say to you the things that I say, it comes from a different place. Do I think that communism, as it's worked by men, works? No. Do I think that democracy often works in certain societies? No, we're seeing Russia implode. Because it's not working. We haven't given it enough time.
It's not democracy.
Well, but they think it is, and we said it is.
Yes, please.
This is totally nothing to do with Vietnam, and I'm very curious. Would you just applaud if you believe that you're being hurt by secondhand smoke now? I give up.
Right.
Isn't that great?
You're not just wrong, you're stupid. Okay, can I just tell you that?
And none of them have...
There's 1,000 noxious fumes in the air in America. America causes
none of them have to
cancer.
stay, and if they don't care for it, they can...
Right, it's so easy
take
to
a number,
pick out
get
the
online
one
and suck
evil,
my
isn't
thumb.
it?
Yeah.
I have many evils. I also smoke.
Right.
You know.
This is sort of analogous to the...
Okay, Christopher Hitchens, I don't think there's anyone in the world who, when I see the byline, I want to read the article more. He makes us think differently about things. I don't know of a higher praise I can say to an author. And apropos of that, his new book is called Letters to a Young Contrarian. Larry Klayman, no book, but has made an art of the lawsuit. You're suing bin Laden now?
Well, yeah, I thought we'd add that in Iraq, Bill. You forgot about that.
Someone's got to do it.
Somebody's got to... You know, this show is famous for making some strange bedfellows, some people who don't normally agree. I think you two guys, Christopher, Larry, probably agree on Bill Clinton being evil, and you have a lot of support lately, because I've read, just in the last few days, somehow it got to the media, oh, wait, that's right, Bill Clinton. We forgot, the original evildoer. I'm reading a lot of things about how it's really Bill Clinton's fault, because when he was in office, he should have gotten bin Laden. And you know what? Nobody should be exonerated from that. We all are guilty. We all had terrorism go off on our watch, and we all hit the snooze alarm. That's the media, that's the people, that's Bill Clinton, but it's also Congress. And every time I read this stuff about Bill Clinton, who I know worked real hard on trying to get bin Laden, I think, yeah, but maybe he was distracted because a lot of people in this country and in Congress were so interested in his penis.
You said penis.
Well, I said penis. You can say penis. You can say penis.
His show.
When he says penis, he holds his hands like this far apart. He's talking.
Well done.
He's talking from personal experience.
I get.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave.
It's just a knee jerk.
Right. So you called us here to blame us. That's the bottom line.
I did
right?
call you exactly.
Christopher and I are guilty for
You
terrorism.
are. You actually
because we kept him preoccupied.
And the
That's-
country's
that's-
preoccupied.
With his
Right.
thing.
Now, the bottom line here, Bill, is
Johnson.
I actually agree with you. I agree with you that everybody's guilty. Congress, Clinton, the Republicans, the Democrats, everybody was telling the American people, no threat, foreign or domestic, isn't it great, vote for me, it's a nice world. But the bottom line is that we had one crime committed after another. We had national security violations during the Clinton administration. We had Capitol Hill that wasn't doing its job, turning over the rocks. And they all have blood on their hands. I agree with you. What happened? 4,000 people dead. The government didn't do its job. INS didn't do its job. The Justice Department didn't do its job. We represent an FBI client.
Except
who was
that
prevented from
when
doing
Bill
his job.
Clinton actually did fire back at bin Laden, you all said, he's just trying to distract us from his penis.
Because...
We were never into his penis, Bill.
Because... Very cheap.
No, really,
very
I was
cheap
never
applause.
into Monica Lewinsky.
Very cheap applause indeed. This is the first time I've been on your show when you haven't hired some coke-sodden rock star to tell me that I'm obsessed with Clinton. Now it seems to me you're the obsessed one. When Mr. Clinton fired,
I was a
when Mr.
coke-sodden
Clinton,
rock star.
when Mr. Clinton fired the cruise missiles at Sudan, at Khartoum, he destroyed the only pharmaceutical factory in Sudan.
Right.
Put Sudan back many years. He made bin Laden look good, not an easy task. He fired another cruise missile at Pakistan, hit the wrong target, but the Pakistanis were so angry, they let go the people who they'd held for the blowing up of the US embassies in Africa. The whole thing's been minutely investigated. It was clearly a wag-the-dog operation. It took place in the week Mr. Lewinsky went back to the grand jury.
Chris, how can he win? If he does it, it's wag the dog. If he doesn't do it, he's negligent.
Because after that, he dropped the whole subject. He dropped the whole subject.
No, he didn't.
If you're going to wag the dog, you wag it well. You actually take out the cancer. The
Keep that
cancer
dog
grew during those
wagged.
years.
Spank
Okay,
that
but
monkey.
what about the fact that a lot of the people who were persecuting him, the impeachment managers, were on all sorts
What's
of...
with the quotes here?
Well, because they didn't manage it very well, did
Well,
they?
the problem, Bill, is they didn't remove him. They left him there, and he was negligent. He was having oral sex as bin Laden was building up this terrorist threat. What was he doing there? But Congress was equally as guilty.
Bin Laden was
for
having
not
oral
looking
sex?
into what happened.
That's Clinton. Remember Clinton?
Bin Laden, we don't know about whether he's had oral sex or
Well,
not.
with
But I
Bin Laden we know.
Well, I wasn't referring
Yeah.
to bin Laden.
Yes, as reported by the
do-
tabloids.
we are sure of
Small penis, that's why he hates America.
Is the premise of your question, though, that if they hadn't been going after Clinton that way,
Yes.
if they hadn't done that, that Bill Clinton would have taken out Osama bin Laden, that he would have built up the armed forces, he would have
No.
built up the CIA, then what is the premise?
Or kept his oath of office. He swears the oath of office whatever happens, okay? And that involves defending the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. There is no excuse for not doing that job. There is no excuse for not doing that job, and he flatly refused to do
No,
it.
and he will go down as the worst president.
You said go down in
Well,
relation to...
That was not the way it
That's-
he will,
I think he's going to go down
he will
as the
go
worst.
down as
He
the
said
worst
that.
president in
Go
American
down.
history. The legacy that he has left is a malignant cancer
Peace and
that's threatening to
prosperity.
destroy the
God help
country.
us from that again.
Yeah, really.
Where's the prosperity?
Where's the prosperity? I don't know. He left office and it seemed to disappear, Larry.
And what about the peace? What about the peace?
The peace, again, he's gone, it's gone. I don't know.
Oh,
Call
yeah.
me crazy.
Yeah, I will. That's nuts. That's a fatuous thing to say.
Why?
He's gone and suddenly the bin Laden network attacks the United
No,
States.
no, no. You asked me about peace.
I did.
Okay. Well, all I'm saying is that, you know, when he was in office, we had a pretty good deal going on. I'm not saying that September 11th wouldn't have happened, but I'm telling you something. When President Bush came in office, the whole tone changed. It was his directive to the Middle East was, you know what? You guys kill each other. I'll be on the ranch. And you know what? I don't think that message really
Let me
goes
tell you
well in
something. I
that
think
part of
you
the world.
have
At
to-
least Bill Clinton tried to make peace, and they appreciated that.
It's not because of Israel, and it's not because...
Not because of Israel?
Not because of Israel. That's the pretext.
Oh, my God.
They won an Islamic revolution worldwide. Islamic revolution, they've declared war not just against Jews, but against Christians everywhere. And that's just the excuse. So
No,
you
crusaders,
can settle the
Larry.
Palestinian problem, and it won't stop bin Laden. It won't stop the radical Arabs and Islamic people. They're going to continue on. They want us destroyed. They want us dead. But I agree with you again.
Well-
Again, the entire government failed to do its job, from the Federal Aviation Administration to the Immigration and Naturalization Service to the FBI. They were lying to the American people. And this cancer grew, and
Well, why
now
don't you sue them?
we're in a fatal state. We have.
You have.
You've been getting our press release.
If Al Gore were president on September 11th, what would have happened in your opinion?
Oh, I'm sure he would have done the same thing. That's another...
Al-Qaeda would have done the same thing, right?
Yes.
Okay, so...
Give it up.
Well, I'm not...
Give it up. Stop being obsessed with it.
I'm not...
Let go.
I'm obsessed with it. I'm not obsessed with it.
Let go.
No, it's only because I've been reading so many reports in the last few days about how Bill Clinton let us down. Bill Clinton should have done this. Bill Clinton should have done that. And when I read it, I think to myself, you know what? It wasn't just Bill Clinton.
It was,
a lot of the people who were on committees about our national security were so obsessed with Bill Clinton and yes, this.
But
That was the only news you ever saw. That's all you ever saw
But even
for years.
even without the Clinton
He's the
scandals, they
commander-in-chief.
wouldn't have done anything,
No,
you
wait,
see, because
he's the
they want to
commander-in-chief.
sell their services. They want to say, the world is great, the country is great, vote for me. And all the while, this problem was brewing.
The speech
And
that
it's a
Clinton
problem.
gave on the day he destroyed the only pharmaceutical factory in Sudan, the speech he gave that night was exactly the same as the speech Michael Douglas gives in The American President. It was a woo-woo moment. It was a guy who was seriously up against it. Mr. Lewinsky's going back to the grand jury. He hits the wrong target in Sudan. He kills the wrong people. He lets bin Laden look good. He gets people who we've been looking for a long time released by governments who are so angry that they
But
were...
he didn't
And then he
personally
never
hit
mentioned... He never mentioned the Al-Qaeda network ever again, and I'm sorry. He's commander-in-chief.
But yeah,
He's a constitutional responsibility. There is no
It's
excuse
interesting you
for
say
him.
that I'm obsessed, but
No,
he
it's-
personally hit the wrong target. Now, the other day, we had a friendly fire accident. But I don't see you going, you know, President Bush killed 3 of our men the other day.
No, but I wouldn't
He
do
hit
that.
the wrong target.
No, no, wait.
Well, that's totally different.
It's totally different.
Well, it's not the same analogy.
Hold your applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. I don't deserve it. Mr. Bush can't direct every missile in Afghanistan. Mr. Clinton picked that target personally, and he overruled the Joint Chiefs and the CIA and the FBI to hit that target in
And
Sudan.
not only that, Bill, but
it's all in my
the
strangely
Washington
neglected.
Post,
It's all in my strangely neglected book.
a liberal publication, Washington Post, a liberal publication, reported that Clinton had the ability to make a deal with the Sudan to get bin Laden back in 1997 and just looked the other way. Did nothing about it.
Wasn't interested.
I find that hard to believe.
And there was no
Look the-
fundraising to be done either.
But can't we all
there was
agree?
no money in it.
Well, who donated to Hillary Clinton's campaigns in New York?
Whereas with his peace
Radical
negotiations, as
Muslim
you call
groups.
them,
That's right. They put him in the White House.
Yeah, but with
It was
his-
bin Laden.
with his peace negotiations
right.
in Israel, as you call them, peace negotiations, it turned out that there was a way of raising money from Mark Rich.
But let me tell you
during those
something else.
negotiations.
Let me say something
So
else.
you're
here.
saying
there's
that
no
Bill
money-
Clinton got
there's no
money
money
from
in
the
Sudan.
terrorists,
There's
and
no
that's
money.
why he didn't go after bin Laden, and I'm obsessed?
Well, there's an
You brought it up.
You
brought it up.
These politicians were getting money from all of them, from all of these interests to some extent. And they're compromised, and they didn't do their job. And let me tell you another thing, and I think you'll be surprised to hear this. Bush comes into power January 20th, the year 2001. A lot of people voted for him because they wanted him to turn the rocks over, to immediately look at the national security problems, to look at terrorism. For 8 months, this administration did nothing. It's nowhere near the culpability of the Clinton administration that was for 8 years. But no one did anything until 4,000 people got killed on September 11th. It's time that people started questioning the government, not being yes men, but asking that this government do its job, because that, under the Constitution, is their primary job, to protect us.
Okay. All right, let's talk a little bit about the military tribunal situation, which has certainly inflamed this nation as much as anything could, considering the nation is not paying any attention. The people who are paying attention, some of them are saying that this military tribunal idea of the president, which was executed by executive order, I mean, nobody had to vote on this, is not the way we should go about it, because we are a democracy and we should uphold the very principles that we are trying to defend. Others say that if you let the terrorists be tried, Mitch McConnell, a senator, said it has the potential of the O.J. trial. In other words, if you got bin Laden back here and tried him in a regular court, he said, is the potential of the O.J. trial
If your
completely...
turban doesn't fit, you must acquit.
I could have said that. I could have said that. Complete with
Already, I'm beginning to
grandstanding by
think maybe he
defense.
didn't do it.
Yeah, right. I don't know. What do you think about
Can
it?
I just say I'm in favor of it for certain people, and one of those would be Geraldo.
No,
we
there's
can
one
do that.
tried in front of a military tribunal.
Right.
Yeah, if
He's
we can
over
do
there.
that, then I don't care what we do to him.
He's
But I-
foreign and he's carrying a gun.
I had to show my ID maybe 5 times to fly here. The people who got on the planes on the 11th didn't have to show their ID but once, and they didn't even disguise their IDs to get on the planes, even though 5 of them were on the terrorism so-called watch list. No one in our national security system, which is paid billions of dollars, no one has offered to resign, and no one's been fired. And after that performance, they say, well, let's hurry past that, and why don't you give us supreme power now, so we can do what we like. It doesn't work for me. I think Ashcroft should be impeached, as a matter of fact. The Constitution is much more important than the Bush administration. It's much more important than the Justice Department.
Bill,
So are you saying that our system works and that they will find, 12 jurors that are of their peer
I've
group?
spoken to a lot of prosecutors in Washington, where it was my hometown. None of them says this would be a tough case to win on. It would be a pretty easy, but
They
we
said
don't,
that
we
about
don't, we
OJ,
should,
did
we
they?
Yeah,
shouldn't, we
really.
shouldn't, we should not prejudge it.
Well,
I don't think that Mr.
But on the other hand,
did
what we're dealing with...
Let's see. That remains. But if Mr. Bin Laden walks, where's he going to walk to? He's not going to be playing golf in Miami.
First of all,
excuse me.
No.
That's the first thing. The second thing is this: the judge in Spain, Judge Balthazar Garzon, one of the most distinguished judges in Europe, has just done what the FBI and the CIA can't do. He's arrested 8 members of Al Qaeda, suspected members, let's say, but they look pretty convincing to me. He's holding them. This is the guy who issued the warrant for Pinochet. He's not a soft-on-crime guy. He's one of the great international jurists
not
of our
towards
time.
rightist
And he
leaders,
says,
he said.
I cannot deliver them. I can't extradite them.
Isn't
from
the
Spain.
real issue...
I can't extradite them from Spain to a Banana Republic tribunal that has secret evidence, that can convict people in secret, that doesn't allow them a lawyer, and that can execute them.
Okay.
Without making an announcement.
Let me
So,
ask you
I'm
this.
sorry,
Even
we
though it's a
can't
war
deliver...
crime.
So it's positively...
Chris?
The reason why I say Ashcroft should be impeached is this.
Chris?
He's positively impeding the hunt for the people who want to kill you.
First of all, it's not Ashcroft's policy. He's just implementing
Bush's
the policy. But, I'm torn too, Bill. I'm a lawyer. I believe in civil rights. But these are war criminals that we're dealing with. I mean, they're criminals. These are not American citizens. They're people that want to see us dead. And what is the answer? To put them in front of a firing squad? I think a military tribunal is ultimately more just.
Wouldn't this be a non-issue if we had any faith in our real justice system?
But we don't.
Absolutely.
Hey,
We don't.
isn't that
We have
really
none.
the issue?
Absolutely.
Is that our justice system sucks so much
It does
that
suck.
we don't have any...
But it particularly sucks when it's a very high-profile, very wealthy defendant. And
Right.
I'm assuming
And I
they would
wanna
have
get
unlimited resources.
Yes, he's wealthy.
They would. Would they not?
Look. You're creating two tiers. One of the guys who convicted of blowing up the U.S. embassies in Tanzania and Kenya, Wadi al-Hajj, is an American citizen. He was convicted for that. There's this poor sap from the Bay Area who's an American, who's a Taliban fighter. What are they going to do? Say,
Well, but as American citizens
you're
are
a Taliban
exempt.
fighter, but
Yeah.
you're an American citizen, so you get a fair trial. But I, by the way, I'm a green card
Well, you
holder.
shouldn't get a fair
I
trial.
could be executed, and it doesn't even have to be
You know,
publicly
if you get a
announced.
fair trial, but he shouldn't get it in the
No,
context
it's an
of the court
outrage. It would
system.
create a two-tier system.
Yes,
And only
it would.
today,
And
and
we-
only today, 3 guys in Illinois are released after 15 years because the government got it wrong.
Well,
Please, but we're not
Imagine
talking
that was with due process.
We're not talking about a situation where
no.
we think
Don't
Osama
go
bin
there.
Laden did, but maybe it was somebody else who has a similar DNA or looks like Osama bin Laden. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
it's not mistaken identity here.
In fact, I wouldn't want to be on. I wouldn't want to be on that jury. I wouldn't want my children to be unsafe as a
Well,
mother.
then you're
I
saying,
wouldn't.
then why are you saying that he's going to walk?
Let me say this, Bill.
I'm not saying he's going to walk.
Why is he saying he's going to walk?
You know, one of the things here, there is the potential for abuse. There's no question. Christopher's right about that. But these are not ordinary American citizens under ordinary circumstances. We are in a state of war. We need to take strong action. But I'll tell you, if they go over the line, Judicial Watch will be the first one there
But if it was
to complain.
30 or 40 years
Well,
ago,
no.
when people had
Larry,
faith...
I'd love to agree with you. You won't know. You won't know where they're held. You won't know their names. You won't know the charge. You won't know the evidence.
Well,
you won't
we
know a
do
thing.
need to
They
know
could be-
that.
They
And
could-
those
they could already.
regulations-
They could already have captured, tried, and executed someone with no one in this
I
country.
agree
knew.
with
In
you,
theory, it could have happened
and that's
already.
over the line. We do need transparency.
Don't you
We
think?
need to know.
Spoken like
know
a
what they're
true
doing.
American. We have to take a break. We'll be right back. Because I read in the paper yesterday that there's a school out here that had just made Harry Potter required reading, which I think...
It's a great book. I mean, I think it should be required reading for adults.
What's great about it?
What's great about
great
it?
about
Have you
it?
not read them?
I haven't read
Oh,
them,
you have to read
we're
them.
adults.
No, it's great.
I heard it's
No,
about-
Now, let me tell you something. It's
I
great
heard it's about
literature. I'm not
witchcraft
saying-
and Satan worship and whatever.
You know what? So is mythology. So is Aesop's fables and stuff like that. So is the Bible, for that matter. But I'm telling... Well, no, I mean about,
Satan worship?
miracles. No, about miracles and stuff like that.
Yeah, right, like
But
the Bible has no weird stuff.
Yeah, really. I'm telling you, as a piece of literature, it's fabulous, and that it's turned on an entire generation to reading. I am all for it. And
Then why make
I
it
think
required?
Well, I think they should be required to read it earlier.
They've already read it. It's so typical of
No, if they've
parents
already read it-
pandering to their children.
If they've already read it,
You must
yes.
eat ice cream.
But I think if kids have already read it, then it shouldn't be
Then, as you said,
required.
it should be required for adults, but
Yeah.
not for school children.
Well, no. It should be required for school children if they haven't already
my
read it.
daughter is 8, and she's just undertaken to read and has finished 4 quite big novels.
Right.
And from now on, she now knows how to read for pleasure. I couldn't be happy. I mean,
Absolutely.
she should be Lady Rowling or the Duchess of Rowling or something.
My daughter's 20.
absolutely.
My daughter's 21 months old, and she read the Brothers
It's
Karamazov.
vulgar of schools to say, well, because something is popular, let us just
But
make
it's
it
wonderful
compulsory.
literature, though, too. I think it's
deadly
very
to
well
do that.
written.
I'll tell you
It's a
what.
way of killing it
You
off.
know, there are a lot of conservatives that are against having kids read Harry Potter because of what I said,
Right,
the
right,
witchcraft
of
and the
course.
sorcery and the Satanism. But I'll tell you what, we'll cut a deal. If the kids read Christopher's book, No One Left to Lie To, if that's compulsory, we'll go with that.
And letters,
At 8?
Clinton and the
Dave, what were you
sorcerers and the
saying
and the
witchcraft.
letters to
your
young
children?
I was saying my daughter's 21 months old, and she read the Brothers Karamazov in the original Russian. And I just don't want people to think just because Christopher has a British accent that he's more intelligent than I am in my family. That's all. And I think the next show he should be required to talk like the
I don't
rest of
think
us.
anyone
Could I
thought
just
that.
say, no, they shouldn't think
They
that.
do
or
wonder
not-
why you guys
they
dress
shouldn't
alike,
think
but
that.
nobody thought
I
that.
think
They should not think that, or not for that reason.
Yeah. You know, in my son's
close
school,
on that.
I was upset because my son is in 2nd grade. He started reading the book. He started to read at 5. He read the books, all of them, by 6. And now he bought me the first book, and he said, Mommy, I want you to share this with me. So I ended up reading them all because I love them so much. But in his class, they started reading them to the kids. And I said, don't rob kids of that. that, let them read it themselves, because if you read it to them, then you're taking something away
But
from them.
Mary Lou,
It's much better.
are there some books that kids shouldn't read?
These are kids,
Yeah,
who,
but
haven't
not
read, these
Harry
are kids who
Potter.
haven't read Huck Finn yet. remember?
That's what I'm saying. You
They
know,
haven't read
But if they
Tom
inspire
Sawyer
them,
yet.
but you know what?
Haven't
It was
read
harder
James.
to drag them to Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer before.
Inspire them.
Now they're more likely to read something like that. 5 years
well, you
ago,
know,
it was
Lord
very
of the
difficult.
Rings is the next big movie.
Oh, please.
Maybe we should make that required reading. Maybe we should see what the box office is
It's
first.
too long. Too
Yeah,
long.
let's see what it does as a movie. The conservative editor of Vanity Fair, and his new book is No One Left to Lie To, The Triangulations of William Jefferson Clinton. I'm guessing not a fan of the president. Christopher Hitchens right over here. Hey, it's been too long. Always a pleasure. Thank you for coming back. Thank you very much.
Hello, how are you? Hi.
Okay, well, here's your book, Christopher. No One Left to Lie To, the Bill Clinton story. And as I say, I'm guessing you're not a fan, and we'll get into that. But here's what I want to ask. Today, he sort of made a deal just before we went on the air. It was on the news. Looks like he got Russia on board. Our Congress has not been supportive of his foreign policy. But last year, when Clinton was going through his ordeal, leaders from all around the world made the point of coming here to stand by him and say, you know what? You people in America are crazy. I mean, Nelson Mandela did this. Václav Havel of Czechoslovakia, Nobel Prize winner. Tony Blair. King Hussein of Jordan got off his deathbed to stand next to Clinton and say, you know what? I've known 9 U.S. presidents from Eisenhower, and this guy is the best one. He is the real deal. So my question is, what do you know that they don't?
Well, ask me on my deathbed. I think I'd have to be that far gone to make the mistake you just made. Mr. Clinton had 2 cabinet meetings last year, count them, 2. One to lie to his cabinet in January, one in August to say, sorry guys, I'm going to have to tell some of the truth now. He had no press conferences unless he was forced to by the visits of Nelson Mandela, Václav Havel, Tony Blair, and King Hussein, any one of whom is worth
So that's your answer?
25, yeah, any one of whom.
He didn't have enough press conferences?
Any one of whom is worth 25 of him. None on his own. No, he had to
Nelson
embarrass.
Mandela's crazy. Václav Havel's crazy.
He had to embarrass his guests in order to appear. He wouldn't take questions on his own. He wouldn't say, I know you want to ask Mr. Mandela something. You might have some questions for me.
Yeah, but give the guy a break. I mean,
he used Nelson Mandela as a human shield. What could be more disgraceful than that?
Our country is in great shape financially. That's a big deal for all of us. People are enjoying being able to afford
They can buy the
food.
Buttmaster.
They can buy the Buttmaster. Everyone should have one.
There's a torso track,
Or the torso track.
You had to bring that up. And Paula Jones is 800 grand better off. Which is
she can be the Buttmaster.
I don't believe it.
No, wait a minute. Listen. The guy is... The guy's a complete reptile. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, but you know, can we speak from a place of compassion? All right, the female here. Bill Clinton, as we all know, is a child of an alcoholic, and as you know, and a few of you know, I've written several books about what it's like to grow up with an alcoholic. The first thing that you ever read about a child of an alcoholic who lived in this environment is a child of an alcoholic will lie just as easily as tell the truth, because what you live with is so humiliating and so embarrassing. And I don't know if anybody in this room has ever watched their mother be hit, but you feel so powerless, so that you either become a victim and just shrivel up, or you become one of these kids that's going to show that son of a bitch that you're not the worthless piece of whatever that he keeps telling you you are. And so I put Bill Clinton in that category, and he went all the way to prove so much that he was president of the United States. But when he got there, because of all the low self-esteem that comes from being a child of an alcoholic, he didn't feel he's worth it. So he had to screw it up.
So it's all about...
It's compassionate. It's understanding behavior.
If it's compassionate because you're saying, it's very compassionate, you're saying his problems should be ours. I'm saying he should certainly seek some kind of treatment. But do you think
he's not the first president of the United States to have those problems?
It seems to me, no, but he's the current one.
Yeah.
He's the one we've got now, and it seems to me that presidential...
You don't even sound like you're American.
Seems to me...
I don't think that Clinton is any different than
Since you asked me, I'm going to finish this sentence if it kills me, okay?
Tough
It
room.
seems to me that presidential therapy isn't working for him. We can feel sorry for him. I'd feel sorry for him if he'd become a private citizen.
Isn't working.
He's trying to use the presidency for therapy, and it's not working for anyone. Ask the people in Kosovo.
Has anyone
who are being
ever been...
Speaking of therapy, see, I don't think
being
Clinton...
killed to save his face.
Okay. I don't think Clinton
People
is
are
any
dying
different.
to save this guy's face. It's not funny.
All right, okay.
Okay, now I want to...
What a face to die.
Can I finish my sentence now?
Yeah, what do you
I don't think this president is any different than any other past presidents. There's a new climate with the press and partisan politics attacking the president who used to be. But I think, on the other hand, speaking of therapy, which I wanted to ask you, is what is it, you have such vitriol for popular icons, whether it's Mother Teresa or Princess Di, and now William Jefferson Clinton.
Teresa?
And I want to know what is it that you find this profound disdain you have for these people who...
That kind of does put some perspective on it. You don't like Clinton, you don't like Mother Teresa.
You don't like Princess Di.
Princess Di, yeah.
I mean, you know, she died with a bucket. That was her only possession. How can you not like her?
Where'd she get that bucket?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I have no. You didn't do the audit. You didn't do the audit. But since you asked, I quite like Mr. Mandela and Mr. Harville, both of whom I've met as a journalist also. I have some kind things to say for some people. Mr. Clinton, you say it's the same. Mr. Clinton is a rapist, okay? Been plausibly accused. Yes. Plausibly, believably accused 3 times of rape.
So accusations equal reality in your journalistic world. That's the problem with journalism, which is more screwed up than politics, my friend. You know, wait a sec. No.
Your people will clap bloody anything, won't they?
They will, but you know what? It's so wrong just to say...
I operate on the presumption of guilt, and so do you. I can't convict anybody, but I'm not going to say Juanita Broderick is a liar, because everything she says checks out, and President Clinton hasn't denied it yet. He won't comment on the accusations. It's not his word against hers.
Don't you think...
it was, it would be the word of a psychopathic liar.
So in other words, if somebody accuses you of something and you don't dignify it with a comment, you're guilty of it.
Okay,
that's an interesting judicial system that we don't have here in America, I have to tell you.
I'm not a judge, I'm not even a jury.
Oh, but you are a judge. You just said he's a rapist.
Take that look off your face. No, I have an opinion, and I'll defend it.
But you know, going back to this feminine thing here, people who have pain have ways of taking pain away.
If I was accused of rape, I'd deny it.
Sex.
If it wasn't true.
Well, no, you're not accused of rape. You've certainly been accused of many things in the past several months.
I'll try another one. Yesterday it was agreed by the Treasury Department and the Defense Department that the factory in Sudan that makes all the medicines
I can't get into Sudan. I have to take a commercial. We'll get into Sudan when we come back. Okay, we're talking about the president, and I remember at the beginning of the scandal, the press all said, you know, he's not going to be able to function. And he not only, of course, functioned, but prevailed. They all quit. He's still there. He did the job. The economy's good, like you said.
And I think that's precisely the thing that drives you crazy.
The Bush economy and the Federal Reserve economy.
The fact that he excels despite all the things that are thrown against him.
The comeback kid stuff is the Hannibal Lecter sign about him. He doesn't hurt. He doesn't suffer from humiliation, from disgrace, from ruining the life of his wife, his
naive.
daughter.
Look, it is a democracy.
I like that.
It is a democracy here, and his rating is something like, what, 60%?
It's the sign of a psycho.
It's a sign of a psycho to be strong.
No,
we're
strong about what?
What do you want, a president?
Strong about what? He's a pussycat in relation to Milosevic. He's a pussycat in relation to Hussein. He's a pussycat to the opinion polls, to Wall Street, to the Federal Reserve. He rolls over and plays dead. There's nothing strong about him at all.
It's pussycat to Milosevic.
It's nothingness. Now it lasts. Now some genuine, thoughtful applause.
No, those are people like you who hate him from the get-go, and it doesn't matter what the facts are because the hate comes first, and then you fit the facts into the hate.
I was trying to give you some facts, and you called a break.
They're not.
Shut up.
But I was going to ask. Wait a second.
I was giving you some facts. You called a break.
I know, but I don't want to get into the Sudan.
Sudan. I can do it in one sentence.
Okay.
It's been admitted this week in open court in Washington by the Treasury and the Defense Departments that every claim they made and the President made about the only pharmaceutical factory in a poor country, Sudan, that Clinton blew up on the day Mr. Lewinsky went back to the grand jury. Every claim they made is false. They've apologized. They're going to have to pay compensation. Live with it. Live with it. He's not just a rapist. He's a war criminal.
He's not a rapist.
I
take exception to you and the rest of you people.
Did you mention the price of my
in the
book?
Washington press forum? No respect for the president or the office that it holds. And I think that's a reason for some of the problems with what's going on with the presidency and partisan politics. There's no respect for the office.
And you know what? He had the wrong address. He had the wrong address, and nobody likes him there because it's a good old boys club, and they like, when you come from political families, it's just much easier to understand. But he came from Arkansas, and I've never seen such a witch hunt. Have you?
I've never seen
it. Yeah, I was going to ask, is it this being from this alcoholic family?
His wife said they hate us because we're from Arkansas. She's from Lake Forest, Illinois.
Yeah. We're talking about him.
She's from a ritzy family in Illinois. It's Huri who said, only she has ever said, they hate us because we're from Arkansas. And she's not from there.
Yeah, but she spent the better part of her life there. She was the first lady of Arkansas.
They can't even be phony in the right way.
But
everything about them is false.
Don't you think before you call someone a rapist, whether they're a citizen or the president, you should know it for sure? You should have that as a...
I've written a long article about why she's right.
Were you there?
But you weren't there. It was 20 years ago.
How do you know I wasn't there? Are you asking me or telling me?
I'm asking you. Were you there?
Well, you weren't.
So apparently where you're from, which is in Arkansas, you don't believe by trial by jury.
You were watching.
Look, is it don't ask? Is it? I just have to. Is this don't ask or is it don't tell? Because you're not letting me decide.
But you weren't there, and you don't know. So
that means we have total neutrality about it.
But we have to believe
you have no opinion.
To level that.
How can you, as a journalist, in the basis being integrity, which has been in question.
This is how I can do it.
Lately.
Yes. This is how I.
If you want to start rhyming Hitchens with things.
Go ahead. Now, you should do it while I'm here.
I don't know how you can question.
Do it while I'm here, or don't do it at all. Wait. Say that to my face, or don't say it at all.
What I'm saying is,
say it to my face, or don't say it.
Let me finish, because I will.
No.
I will.
I know what you're saying.
In the most recent, in the May edition of Vanity Fair.
Would you let him talk?
Yes, he's trying to make an insinuation.
Say it, but he's trying.
That too.
He's trying, and he would do it if you'd shut the hell up.
He wants.
Say it. Suzanne, would you put something over his mouth?
That you don't give. You like to show that you don't give a damn about what people think when you dedicate your entire column this month to trying to tit for tat and against the people, your detractors, the people who are saying that you breached this code of ethics, the lunchroom, and all the stuff in the Sidney Blumenthal thing. And you said that no one has accused you of being a snitch, which would mean you acted out of malice or self-promotion. No one has accused you of that. Well, I'm here right now, and that's what I'm accusing you of.
Are you licking my hand?
I have to take it from my... All right, turning to something lighter, and I use the term loosely because we're going to talk about the fat pill now. Do you know about this? The FDA just approved a new pill called Xenocol, which, unlike the other ones, which I guess blocks the desire for food, this actually prevents the food, the fat, from absorbing into your body.
Yeah, and there's another nasty little side effect, which is loose stool syndrome.
I don't want to eat it.
Yes,
yeah.
I'd rather have him call Clinton a rapist than hear loose stool.
The article...
He seems like he would know about that.
Yeah, well, you're good. That's another good one.
Give him a chance.
The article came out last week about Xenocol, and there was this thing that said symptoms: gas and oily stool.
Okay, that's
I told you.
I'm currently on tour with our band, and that was
But you know,
where the New York Times had the thing saying finally it's been proved that red wine is much better for your heart than anything else. And also the bit I really liked, the decaffeinated beans really do give you cancer of the pancreas.
well,
there's a Woody Allen movie about that, isn't it? In Sleeper, Woody Allen discovers that one day
and red meat is good for you.
He's been born late enough to find that smoking cheers you up and increases short-term concentration and all that other good stuff.
The decaffeinated beans?
The decaffeinated beans will really rot your pancreas.
no, but it's not the steam. It's not the steam decaffeinated. That's only the chemically decaffeinated. Only the chemically decaffeinated. The steam kind of you get a teeny bit of caffeine.
I used to say this.
Caffeine blocks your sex organs, though. Your sex hormones, not your organs. Excuse me. Your sex hormones.
I'm just going to have water. We'll take a commercial. We'll be back. I'm not going to eat.